welcome. And welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. So, we're continuing on with our series of tarot messages by Human Design Profile. And today I snagged a post from Jess Fields on Instagram. I took one of her foundations courses, I don't know if it was a year ago, 2 years, what year is this? It might have been a year ago. So ton of great information on human design on her Instagram if you're interested. I'll link her Instagram in the description below. You can check it out. It's just JES.FIELDS. And of course, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. If you're here, you are a 2/4 or a hermit opportunist, Human Design Profile. And if you don't know what your profile is, there's a link in the description below to get your human design chart, and on there it'll tell you what your profile is. If you're here because you want to be, great, welcome. So it says, with a 2 in your profile, you likely love to do things in a way that feels natural to you. As you do your thing in your way, others will see you and call you into something new. It's up to you to decide if it's the right call and if you're going to say yes. If you say yes to too many wrong calls, you'll eventually burn out. So make sure you mind your energy and say yes only when it feels right to you. With a 4 in your profile, you have powerful influence within your circle of closest connections. You have a knack for being with the right people at the right time. You were able to connect other people to opportunities, and others do the same for you. If you feel you lack close connections, lean on your natural friendliness and charisma to pull more people into your sphere. Beautiful. Let me know if that resonates. You know, the 2/4s that I know, they are pretty friendly people. Even if they don't feel like they are. Okay, we're going to shuffle with a little more intention here. We're looking for a message for our hermit opportunists. You might have seen, maybe not, but I posted a video yesterday. I'm just going to be taking a quick breaky poo. Going to go full hermit. Hermit and temperance vibes. Speaking of burnout with that second line, although I don't have a second line profile, but I get it. Okay. A couple more. There. Here we go. Okay. Let's see. Dang, we have the Ace of Wands, 7 of Wands, the High Priestess, Queen of Cups, the Emperor, and Page of Cups. And then we have the mental stuff at the bottom of the deck. We have the 5 of Swords. Okay. We have Judgment behind the Five of Swords here, which just kind of, you can see everything, right? Okay. Okay, we'll go through everything as we do. Okay. So we start with the Ace of Wands here. Wands, it's a fire card. But wands talk about action, communication. I see them as being the cards of information also, whether you're giving or receiving information. But it also talks about passion. It's like literally that spark that happens. Like, when you get this like creative idea and it's like, oh my gosh, I want to act on it. I was just thinking in my head, like, almost kind of root center heavy. Because, the root center is feeling that pressure to like move towards something. And then, but of course, right? I mean, like you rely on your strategy and authority to help you figure out when is the right time to move towards a thing. Like pressure is just that, right? It's just pressure. Very interesting. But this is like, yeah, I mean, there's definitely something, like there's an idea that came to you, some sort of excitement is how this feels. Speaking of feeling, we have the Queen of Cups down here too. So it's definitely something that is catching you in your feels. I mean, this can certainly be a person. It could be like a passionate type of connection here. Doesn't have to be, I'm just pointing that out, but this is just like, a creative idea, something that just, it comes in and you have excitement about it. It kind of, catches your interest. And the Queen of Cups here is, it's like it has all the right feels. But interestingly enough, with this Queen of Cups, this queen is diving and this cup is down here. So this might even just be something that's causing you to have to dive a little deeper into your reservoirs. Maybe it's even a matter of trying to figure out, like, do I have the emotional capacity for this idea? An emotional capacity in the sense of, like, do you feel like your cup is half full, or do you feel like your cup is half empty? Right? And that would just be dependent on, like, the burnout thing. Is it like just another thing to add to your plate because it's like sparkly and shiny and it's a fun new idea? And again, tapping into that creative, but at the same time, how busy are you? Right? Like, how full is your plate already? Strategy and authority stuff here. This could even be emotional authority. I mean, it doesn't have to be, of course. But, when we talk about the queens, the queen to me talks about us individually. Like, we recognize the energy of the suit within ourselves. So we're pouring into our own cup. We're giving ourselves compassion and grace. We're nurturing ourselves, right? I mean, there's an intuitive aspect here, and we have the intuitive herself, the high priestess out here. So, it's, again, it's making sure that there was a, okay. There was like a bird that hit my window. It didn't like fly into the window. It like turned right before it hit the window, so I heard its wings. I don't know. I don't know if you can hear the birds. They are wiling out there though. Okay. Confirmation is how I'm taking that. So yeah. Right? Okay. And I say that because, this whale is diving here. And like I said, it's really almost really kind of having to almost kind of get honest with yourself. This could even be the head center because, the head center is where our ideas come from, regardless of if, you have a defined or undefined head center. But again, it is still a pressure center, the head and the root. It's a pressure center. So, we get these ideas and sometimes we feel that immediate pressure behind it to do something with that idea, to put it into practice, to go out and do it. Right? And that's why, we kind of let it, depending on your strategy and authority, because mental projectors, this would be a little bit different for you. But that's why, we let it sink into our bodies, right? Like kind of go through the strategy and authority thing, check in with yourself. Okay, we're clear on that, right? And then we have the Seven of Wands here. And the Seven of Wands talks about standing your ground, being a bit defensive. I mean, this just feels like it feels like all of these other responsibilities are sitting here looking at you and you're like, but I have this new idea, guys. And I think it's great. And all of these other responsibilities are like, well, we were great too. We were great ideas too. It could even just be also that, because I see also these 6 wands that are generally kind of coming at, the person that's usually in the middle. I always see those as like other people's opinions, other people's projection of their fears, their doubts. And, the person that's usually defending themselves is like, I didn't even ask for your opinion or your doubts or your fears. Like I have my own, right? I don't really need anybody else's. And with it being paired with the Emperor, I mean, this could just be something that, because the Emperor is the top of the game. Like the Emperor is all of the kings in one card. It's the divine masculine. So it's the energy of that, not a gender, but the energy of masculine. So initiating, going for what you want. There's a confidence aspect to it. I don't want to go so far as to say arrogant, but it can be. So it's almost kind of like maybe you think that this idea here is, like it's kind of like, it's going to take some work, like physical work, right? Like, I mean, having to put it all together, put it out there, do all of the things that are necessary for a thing to come into fruition, right? But maybe it's like, that doing it is going to put you in this position of authority, whatever it is. I mean, it could be what you're choosing to go to school for. It could be, work wise. It could be anything in your life. I mean, it could be a lifestyle change. But you're like, if I can just manage all of this, this will be where I get to. I kind of want to look at this Page of Cups. What is interesting. Okay, so let's talk about this High Priestess first, because the High Priestess talks, like, I always see the High Priestess as being our direct connection to our higher self. It's, our star player. Of course, I mean, if you connect to a higher power, it can be source, God, spirit. For me, it's like my direct connection to my higher self. So, like I said before, there's this intuitive aspect to it. Like allowing yourself to be guided, but also like really tuning into your truth. Because this could even be like a FOMO type of thing. And, with the Page of Cups, it even talks about tap into your intuition, get a feel for the energy you are dealing with, and work to ease friction instead of irritating it. When you encounter the Page of Cups, expect inspiration to come from unexpected places as it relaxes our biases and opens our hearts. It's some keywords are friendly, compassionate, and kind. It's also interesting that we have 2 water cards flanking this Emperor card, which is fire also. This is also water. So we have 3 water cards, 3 fire cards. So it's almost like, tempering. It is tempering, like literally. But it's almost like, again, like making sure that your actions are aligning with your feelings, not what you think you should be doing, not what other people expect you to be doing, which is the 7 of Wands also. Like I said, like if there's a FOMO aspect, it's, letting go of that too, because anytime that we make any decisions out of a place of fear, we're already losing. It's not going to work. It might for a certain time, but you might find yourself in your not self theme because you're, again, like it's not coming from a place of being intuitively guided, divinely guided, if you want to, So It's interesting. And then, like I said, we have this Five of Swords at the bottom of the deck. And I see the Five of Swords as being like a battle of wits. Swords having to do with our thoughts, our perceptions. I see them as being a card of ego also, because that's generally where we hear our egos and our minds. And, fives are just conflict cards. They're transitionary energies. So it's not necessarily to like anything to pitch a tent and get stuck in, but there might just be, like kind of some mental stuff going on in your realm there. And, we have Judgment. Like I said, and Judgment is the card of transformation. Clearly, the snake shed its skin. So there's a new level there. It talks about growth and evolution. The Ten of Wands is feeling burdened. Feeling a bit overwhelmed even. This is also a fire card. I believe it's I can't remember who it's associated with. Of course, my mind just went blank, but it is a fire card also. Very interesting. Okay. Now, the last thing that I'll say about this, because I've actually been sitting here just kind of staring at these cards, because I feel like there's just something. And I kept looking at this Ace of Wands and this Five of Swords, and it finally kind of hit me, that the building back here, it really kind of looks the same as in this Five of Swords, or similar at least. So, and then I'm like, okay, so what does that mean? So then, we talked about Judgment, right? Like a transformation, growth, expansion, evolution, right? We have the Ten of Wands, being a bit overwhelmed, again, maybe burnout, but also with the 10, it's the completion. So, it's almost like, the transformation has been completed. And then we go right into the Page of Wands, which is adventure, curiosity. The Three of Wands, choosing a direction. It could be a new direction, but it's also like broadening your horizons. Like maybe, the thing that you decide to do could even open up possibilities, because then we have the Knight of Cups after that, which is an offer. Some sort of an offer. It could be romance, but it could be business. Six of Pentacles, give and take, reciprocity. Like maybe somebody is picking up what you're dropping and they want to be involved in it in some kind of way. Queen of Pentacles, leveling up. This is the first Pentacles, well, Six of Pentacles. These are the first two Pentacle cards that showed up here. Abundance, prosperity, the Star. There's Temperance behind there. I think I mentioned Temperance with the water and fire vibes. Three of Cups is celebrating with other people. And then the Moon and the Eight of Wands, like, and look at even The similarity again with the Five of Swords and the Ace of Wands. So it just, I to wrap all that up, again, like check in with your strategy and authority. Make sure that, the experience is correct for you. Even if it's not correct right now, there will come a time where it will be correct, or, the correct situation will show up. So of course, always check in with that. But if your strategy and authority is saying yes to this, keep in mind that, okay, so this is the idea. This is the spark. This is where it starts. This is the goal, right? Like getting to this Emperor, understanding though it's going to take some work. And then allowing, like your creativity to be intuitively guided. This card talks about intuition too. And then behind here, it's almost kind of like the evolution, speaking of the Judgment card, of this whole situation, that, it really does expand beautifully. And it may just take a little bit of time for that to happen, but there's this like level of commitment is how it feels. Of course, you can change your mind about anything at any time, right? But it's almost kind of like, especially with this card out here, like don't give up too soon. Or let it fizzle out too soon, Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for letting me read your cards. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.